Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Goodness Gracious Podcast, Season 42, Episode 8. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Monday. Monday. Okay. So how was everyone's weekend? I didn't do much. I was supposed to take my daughter to a birthday party, but I just got so lazy. And I think what it is that this weather is so back and forth. Like 1 minute it'll be like 70 degrees, the sun is out, and it's like, oh, okay, I want to go out, I want to do this. And then the next minute it's like gray and it's cold and it's like, I'm staying in. So I didn't go out because by the time I got ready, my daughter was invited to a birthday party, but by the time I got ready to go, the weather was like gloomy and it was chilly, and I was like, so I didn't do anything. Basically stayed home, was on, was on the couch watching TV, some YouTubing and just chilling and relaxing. And so, that was my Sunday. Oh, let me tell y'all what I had for dinner. I had a salad, a Caesar salad. I had some yellow rice with some big salmon. And then the day before I had made some buffalo wings. So I just threw that on the plate. Yeah, it's giving big back. And I don't care because it was good. All right, you guys. So let's get into a little bit of morning chit chat. Let's talk about love and marriage, Huntsville. Okay, the trailer dropped. I'm sorry, on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday. Don't quote me. But anyway, since the trailer has dropped, it's supposed to be season 8, I think. I don't know, because the way that Own or Carlos King, how he labels the seasons and whatever, it's starting to get weird because and even Love and Hip Hop does this. They'll do a season 8 A and B. So you don't know. It's like there's 2 parts in one season. And now a lot of people are saying the reason why they do that, like cut the season up in half, because they get away with not paying that reality star 2 salaries. Because if we have season 7, you're going to pay me for season 7. And if we have a season 8, I get paid again for season 8. But if you do it season 7 A and B, that person is not getting double that pay. At least I don't think so. And I believe they do that on Love and Hip Hop at, the Love and Hip Hop Miami and Atlanta. Okay. So if y'all hear any noise, y'all know I have a special needs daughter. And so, yeah. But other than that, the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting on YouTube, and the love and Huntsville of it all. Like, child, after the trailer dropped, a lot of people's mouth were gagged. It was a really explosive, interesting trailer, y'all. I was like, wait, what? We getting a lot. And it was like a lot. We're going to see Martell Holt get arrested I think that's when he violated something about the child or something. He hit one of the kids. I'm not sure. Or I think it was from, I think it was from him, communication, domestic violence. That's what it was. He got arrested for harassment communication, meaning that he was texting Melody Holt allegedly over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And whatever he was texting her, fell into the realms of domestic violence. And so there's that. So I believe Carlos King said when they started filming, the first day they started filming, Martell Holt was arrested. Okay. But I don't understand why he allegedly wasn't, he was trying to commit, what they call it? What's the porn thing, y'all? Porn revenge. He was trying to do that on Melody. So I don't know. And I think the MELOMETERS wanted that addressed in last season of whatever season they're on. Anyway, the trailer was given, y'all. We gonna have, like I said, we're gonna have Martha Holt getting arrested. We're gonna have the Scott's brothers coming for Martell. They're gonna be wanting intervention him. We're gonna get Nell versus Tisha. Okay, because what they call them, oh gosh, what's their last name? What's those people? Fletchers, the Fletchers. They're now full time on the show, so they're going to have. Well, Nell Fletcher is going to have an issue with Tisha, and Tisha's going to feel like she slighted their friendship or something like that. And Nell is also going to be busted about if she got with Mr. Fletcher, because I can't remember his name. Did she get with him while he was married? Okay, that's gonna be addressed. They bringing back Destiny, y'all. They bringing back Destiny. Now I like Destiny. A lot of people didn't see it for her. They felt like, she just didn't give enough, and she was really like closed off, and that's why she didn't come back last season. But I felt that way too. But I always believe in giving people a second chance, like I've said that before. So anyway, she comes back because her producer ended up marrying her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend that she dated for years. Her boyfriend is Moses. Her producer was Sonny. And when they do these reality shows, assign you your own producer. So the female that was assigned to Destiny is who ended up marrying her ex-boyfriend. Ain't that grimy? That's slimy, grimy. That's no good, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And so Destiny is brought back on the show to address that. And I feel like, yes, let her come back and address this, because that is messy and on all kind of levels, okay? Then what's going on with Stormy? I don't know. There wasn't much with Stormy in the trailer, only her reaction to Martell Holt getting arrested. But all in all, it looks like a really juicy season, and I am in. I'm like, Carlos King, you've been listening. Because a lot of people feel like Carlos King is too invested in the Bravo shows and the Bravo housewives of it all. And they feel like he's like lacking when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, like producing a good show. And they feel like don't get the fans started on Love and Marriage DC. Speaking of Love and Marriage DC, part 2 of the reunion was hot. See, this is what I'm not understanding. Love and Marriage DC had like a lackluster kind of like season, but then again, we are watching something that was taped almost 2 years ago. And so what they're arguing about now is fresh new stuff. It don't even have much to do with what happened in the season. But as far as I believe Ashley and Clifton go, but there's more things that's been going down so anyway, a lot of people feel like, even the cast members feel like, Carlos King is not invested in their show, Love and Marriage DC. And I feel the same way. But it's so crazy that the reunion is better than the season itself. I was like, wait, the reunion is good, okay? It's sad to see Irena and Ashley's friendship go down the way that it's going down, but I get it. Ashley is kind of like, I don't know. Ashley is a tough cookie. And I feel like, because it was revealed by Irena in part 2 of the reunion that, she likes to allegedly drink a lot. And so she'll drink so much where she can't take care of her household and her children. And so in the first part of the reunion, we seen that DJ Quick was saying, she was complaining about him not coming home and whatnot, that he likes to work a lot. So I'm thinking after this was shared by Irena about the whole she gets wasted allegedly and can't do her duties or motherly duties, I feel like that's the reason why DJ Quick don't come home. Maybe because she drinks a lot, and then she could be drinking a lot because also he is a workaholic. So if you have someone, who's a workaholic, the husband's the workaholic, and the husband feels like she's a drinkaholic, they're going to bump heads. But I feel like there's a lot going on with Ashley. She'll say she's in therapy, but I think Ashley needs deep, extensive therapy, okay? Like, she need her therapist on call like me, child, because I got mine on call, okay? Text 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Winter. I had such hope for winter. Winter was dating this guy named Yusha, and apparently she felt like he was an opportunist, and he was using her while he was on the show. He really wasn't feeling her like that, and we find out that he had auditioned for Ready to Love, and he was the only match that the producers told him he was matchable with was Joy. And so I think once Winter found that out, I think that kind of like made her turn off from Yusha, because they didn't seem like they were a match. It just, their relationship seemed a little uneven. But she's mad at him. She says he's a phony baloney. And I'm saying, okay, you could be mad at Yusha, but you also need to be mad at the Duncans, because Sharella is the one that pushed, not push, but they kind of like set them up together. So it's like, I would have turned around and said to Sharella, you supposed to be my girl. Why you didn't tell me about your friend? Okay, like your friend is out here, you know, running game on women. So, and then I think Winter is too far up Ashley. I'm like, sometimes when you get so far up someone, you don't see they're wrong and you can't call them out. Because this whole situation between Ashley and Clifton, Joy's husband, if I was Winter and I was Ashley's friend, I would say to her, I don't think it's cool that you keep calling this man sassy, the B word, or this or that, because that's the kind of friend that I am. I have a best friend. We've been friends for like 40 something years, almost 40 years, I believe. And so I wouldn't tell, if I see my best friend doing something that's jacked up, I'm going to tell my best friend, girl, that's not cool. That's not cool. So, Ashley, okay, Clifton admitted to being an antagonist to, or antagonizing to Ashley. However, Ashley should have owned up to, you know, emasculating Clifton with the sassiness. And this is where I have a problem with DJ Quick, her husband, because he's saying Clifton disrespected his wife. But you got to look at the situation and say to yourself, why did Clifton disrespect my wife? What happened? And you have to look at the full picture, because your wife disrespected him first. That's the whole reason why. Now, do I believe men should get up in women's faces? No, I don't. But I don't think he was going to do anything to her. I actually think he was jibbing and jabbing her, and he was trying to get a reaction out of her, which is what she gave. And I think what it is that if DJ Quick don't start checking Ashley, and when I say checking, I mean talking to her when she's in the wrong, then he's going to have to fight a lot of her battles, because that's what it seemed. But anyway, I thought Love and Marriage. Oh, let's get on to Irena and Ashley's friendship falling apart. I think Irena, and I've been saying this on Twitter, I think that Ashley is jealous of the friendship Irena and Joy built. That's the bottom line. There's nothing else to it. She's jealous. But then Irena can be jealous at Ashley too, because Ashley has built a relationship with Winter. So I feel like they both have this disdain for each other, because both of them felt like, oh, we're supposed to be the besties, and now you got your bestie and I got my bestie, and that's why it's not working out. But anyway, I thought the reunion part 2 was great. I didn't did we need a part 3? Not really, but I guess after that long break of returning, because that show was taped in, I think, 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. Don't quote me. But anyway, like I said before, Carlos King, you got to get it together as a producer, honey, because the people's out here is dragging your ass. They dragging you on Twitter. They dragging you on YouTube. They saying you're not invested into your shows like you invested into Bravo and the Housewives. And, yeah. We got to talk about the MELOMETERS, because baby, that's also been hot on the streets of YouTube. Okay, there's some YouTubers that they're calling out Melody Hope. They're calling out her followers. Now her followers are called the MELOMETERS, and Sharelle's World feels like they are bullies, and she feels like it's not fair that Melody has this following, these followers or subscribers who worship the feet, worship the ground she walks on. Let Sharelle tell it it's a cult, but I don't think it's a cult. I just think, Beyonce has the beehives, Nicki Minaj has the barbs, and so that's what it is, right? They're mellometers. She feels like it's not fair that, Martell can't make moves in his life without the mellometers jumping on it. Like, she's Team Martell. So she feels like because I'm Team Martell and she wants Martell to win, she feels like when the mellometers see her talking about Martell on her her YouTube channel, they swarm in and they start ruckus and, they get in the comment section and whatever. And she feels like Melody should talk to her mellometers and tell them to chill out. Now, I can understand it on one hand what she's trying to say, because these people are your followers and your subscribers or whatever, like, tell them don't do this, don't do that. But on the other hand, these are grown people, child. These are grown people, and it's not my job to police grown people. But I get what Sharelle is trying to say. She knows that these things are going down with her mellometers, and she don't say nothing. But we don't know if she says something to these people behind the scenes, so we can't really say that either. But anyway, honey, there's a lawsuit, and someone is suing some of the mellometers. And baby Sharelle wrote, she was calling out the names, honey. And she called out one of my favorite YouTubers, Giving the Real Tea. And I was like, in Empress Radio. I'm like, those are the ones that I like and I follow. I was like, wait a minute now. Hold up. Wait a minute. Because from what I know, Giving the Real Tea, he ain't no mellometer. He calls her mellow mutt. And he drags her every chance he get if he feels like, but it's all in jest. It's all playful. So I was like, why is he in the lawsuit? Come to find out, it's the names were mixed up or whatever. So what it is that this YouTuber, I believe she's a YouTuber, and she used to be a mellometer, and she's switched sides. I guess she went over to the Martell side, Team Martell. And then after she did that, she's saying she started getting harassed and whatever by some of the mellometers. And so it's a lawsuit. They're being sued. I'm like, what is happening? This is just a show. These people don't even know y'all. What are y'all doing? Guarantee if you get locked up today, Melody Holt is not going to bail you out. Martell Holt is not going to bail you out. None of these people from the show is going to bail you out. So y'all need to chill out. Take a chill pill. Just enjoy the show. Do a little bit of review. Do your shade, whatever. As long as it's not vicious, disgusting shade. Because I feel like people should be allowed to say, "Oh, Melody is a snake. Oh, Melody is this. Oh, Melody is that," without people coming in their comment section or on their channel and trying to like take them down or whatever. That's not fair. So, but I feel like this is just reality TV. These people don't know y'all. They'll never meet y'all unless they have a meet and greet. And even if they meet and greet you, they're not going to remember you, child. So y'all need to chill out. Stop with this. So the lady got doxxed. Apparently the lady got doxxed. And so she brought a lawsuit against some of these YouTubers because she was doxxed. And it's just one hot ass mess. Now, Sharelle's World, like I said before, she is, she's like a mouthpiece now for the woman who was doxxed. She's saying that, enough is enough. She's going to fight all these, some of the bloggers who are team, Melody Holt, and she's not afraid. She's going to speak her mind because she feels, Sharelle's World feels like the mellometers are a cult. Whatever, they worship the ground that, Melody walks on, and they don't want nobody saying nothing negative about them. And she's saying she's going to change all of that. She's not scared of these people. And it's just a big old mess. She's saying on her channel it's going to be Team Martell. She feels like it's not fair that Martell can't get back. His past is always being thrown back in his face. Like, yes, he cheated on her, but he should be allowed to move on and have a relationship with his children without the cheating always having to be brought up. I don't know about Martell too much because Martell, I'm not going to give him too much grace because I feel like, if the marriage is broken up, you cheated, you had a child, you should be the one making this peaceful. He should meet Melody not halfway, but all the way because he broke up the marriage and he broke up the family. But sometimes I feel like men like Martell who got egos, they just don't want to see the wrong that they've done. And then it could be he's jealous too because Melody has since moved on and she's even more successful and she has all these businesses going on. Also, word on the street is that allegedly she might be dating Hill Harper, but I don't know how true it is. It's probably just, Anyway, she has since moved on and she's doing good. And now remember, Melody was the brain of the relationship. Martell was Pinky and she was the brain. He could be jealous, because he can't get his builder's license, with Melody. He was doing really, really good. They were doing good in the real estate business or whatever. And so now he's just not doing much. Anyway, also, I forgot to tell y'all, also in the trailer, Marcel and Maurice address Marcel and Maurice addressed Martell about the whole the harassment, DB arrest and whatever. And so they feel like he's went too far. I think so too. And I'm finally glad that the Scotts are finally speaking up and calling Martell out. I always believed they were afraid to call him out because they have their own skeletons in the closet that they don't want Martell to open the door and they fall out. But finally they're going to hold him accountable, which is what you should do because as fathers Maurice don't got no daughters, but Maurice don't have no daughters. Marcel has daughters. And so you don't want men out here, you don't want your daughters coming into, contact with men like that. And then, you're not, and you're friends with someone like that. You got to call them out. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And so he's wrong. He needs to back up off of Melody. And I feel like this. I feel like because Martell has done so much, he should not be allowed on the show anymore. Am I wrong to think that? Because when they had that sit down last season, I felt bad for Melody because I'm like, why is Carlos King allowing this woman to sit across from someone who she alleged, was abusive to her or aggressive to her or whatever? I just feel like we shouldn't put women in those spaces. We've come too far. It's like we don't need to have a sit down. What we need to know is that we have children together and we have to work out the visitation rights. That's it. We don't need to go back to how we got here, who cheated first, who's a liar. We don't need none of that. None of that. So speaking of Maurice and Marcel and Martell is really mad. He's mad. I guess he's seeing the trailer and he's seeing that, they were calling him out for what he did. So he is just on his little, he's on his Instagram and he wants these brothers to know that he is not here for the foolery. So in the clip in the trailer, he when Marcel addresses him about the whole DB case, he calls out Marcel. He said, you and Tisha never had any type of infidelity in your marriage, and she do whatever you say. So where's your wisdom coming from? This is when they try to intervention him. And so he came back and said, at Miami Reese, you're more like Mel and I'm more like Kiawa. So do you really understand what I'm going through? I didn't understand when he said that. I was so confused. I didn't understand what he was trying to say, but I guess he was saying, Maurice, you're more like Mel, meaning that Mel got cheated on and he's Kiawa, because I'm pronouncing the lady's name wrong. I don't even care. Kawawa. Kiwa. Kaya. But anyway, they were going at it. Well, not really going at it. Martell was just feeling like the intervention clip was a lot. So he just got on his Instagram. And then Maurice responded back. Maurice said, at Martell, even with this analogy, I do understand, and I still hold firm there's a better way. So he's trying to say that the way that he's handling everything, Maurice feels like the way that he's handling everything with Melody is the wrong way. Someone said this is why he has a case from Mel. He harassed and blackmailed people, and he uses his half brain cell, baby mama, to also do it. Stop excusing his behavior, and Carlos needs to seriously get rid of him. A lot of people feel like Martell should not be on this show anymore because of what he has done to Melody Holt, and I agree. You never want to take money out of someone's pocket or food off the table because he has 4 children or 5, but it's just someone said, why is Martell still being allowed to film and be rewarded? Carlos, are you that desperate for ratings? Someone said he made a valid point, but because of his behavior and discretions, people are going to invalidate. Sorry, y'all, that was my house phone. There was definitely a better way. Maurice could have handled his sexual desires and conversations surrounding them with his wife, who was in a very vulnerable time in her life due to cancer. Yet again, his point will be dismissed. Oh yes, that's right, because Martell also hit Maurice back with, you didn't feel there's a better way when you needed what you wanted from your wife. You forcible guy, you. So y'all remember that Kimmy had breast cancer. She was going through chemo. She lost her desire to have sex with Maurice, and Maurice went on. He was on somebody's. He did a podcast or something, and he said things that were like, whoa. People were mad at Maurice because he made it seem like his desires and his needs were more important, and not the fact that his wife was fighting for her life and she was she was on chemo. So that is what Martell is calling him out on. He's saying, you didn't feel there's a better way when you needed what you wanted from your wife, you forcible guy, you. Oh my God, this is getting horrible. Let's read some more comments. And I'm reading the comments from OMFG Reality TV. Someone said, Martell truly doesn't even have half a gnat's brain. Shaking my head. Someone else said they have to tread lightly when it comes to Martell. That's why the wives are also on his side. He will spill it all. That's what I said before. I feel like there's some things that Martell knows about the Scott brothers, but at this point, it's like, whatever, like, let it out. We know that Marcel might have creep. Or Maurice is a little, since he says he had a sex addiction. I don't know. Someone said, Martell, there are literally child abuse allegations against you, allegedly. Like, I wouldn't even be on the internet with this mess, honey. Someone said, Martell needs to put all this energy and getting his life together instead of doing Instagram stories. Carlos, do better with your casting. Martell's downfall has been very funny to watch. And this is what I say too. I feel like the time that he wastes going back and forth with Melody Holt, he could have got his builder's license. I don't know if he got it. I don't know. He's just, and then every time he comes back and there's a new season, it's about a woman, a love interest. How about you just concentrate on Martell? You don't need a love interest. Remember, they tried to feed us Sheree Whitfield, and nobody was buying that. Nobody was buying it. Okay, I feel like Martell just needs to work on himself, like getting back to where he'll never get back to where he was with Melody, because like I said, Melody was the brains. But he just needs to focus on himself and his children. Getting your money up. You got a wine business, talk about the wine, try to get the wine moving in spaces, instead of going back and forth. And the Scott brothers are gonna Scott, okay? Someone said, so I guess Maurice will now be accused of bullying him. Okay. Someone said, "Oh wow, Martell's so messy. I don't know why they even go there with him. They're trying to me, the Scott's brothers. They're trying to do a 180, if I'm right, a 360. I failed math. They're trying to." I feel like all of them listen to the bloggers, they watch the bloggers, and they have been called out for condoning Martell's behavior and not condemning him. So I guess this is their way of listening to the bloggers saying, call Martell out, if he's doing something wrong and he shouldn't treat the mother of his children like this, y'all need to call him out. So that's what they're trying to do. But Martell will not let them be great, okay? Someone said Martell said it's his season hope funding an unhinged abuser and losing Mel, the franchise player, brings you all the ratings you want at Carlos King. Well, Carlos is just trying to film a show, y'all. Y'all got to understand. Carlos is trying to film a show. And if this is what's going down with the people on his show, then he has to show it. Okay? Someone said, "Woo, child, the girls are fighting. I guess this is how they promoting the show." Wow, wow, wow. That's what I said. I said they gearing up, honey. They are gearing up. Anyway, like I said before, Sharelle's World on YouTube said she is team Martell and she's going to keep supporting him. She's sick of y'all. Every time he tried to make a move in his life, y'all want to stomp all over him. Y'all want to bring back his past. But also, Martell is responsible for Martell. What you put out there is what you put out there. If you put out good stuff about you, then people are going to talk about your good stuff. But I guess in his case, Sharelle is trying to say every time he tries to make a good move in his life, the MELOMETERS throw it back in his face that, oh, you cheated on your wife. Oh, you had a baby. Oh, so it's all of that. I just think the MELOMETERS need to chill out and let's just enjoy the show. Let people have their own opinions on if they don't like Melody, then they don't like Melody. If they want to talk about they don't like Melody, allow them to talk about they don't like Melody. And I think the whole YouTube universe will be great again because all this back and forth, if you say this about Melody, we gonna swarm in. It's like, child, stop. It's not even worth it, And like I said before, Melody ain't gonna help y'all when y'all get locked up in jail. Definitely not. So, yeah, there's that. Like I said, I'm really excited for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I cannot wait. May 4th is going to be the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. And I also feel like Love and Marriage DC. Here's what I feel about that cast. I feel like they can cut Joy and Clifton, okay? Or keep Clifton and cut Joy. I think Joy is just not cut out for reality TV. It's really cringe sometimes to watch Joy. But I like Joy. I feel like Clifton with the husbands, keep him. Ashley and DJ Quick, if you're not going to check Ashley, and I'm not saying check her as in put her in her place, but if you're not going to sit down and talk to your wife and tell her how she's behaving out here and she needs to stop because she's a beautiful woman, but it's like she's coming off a little, angry, miserable, mad, or whatever. If they not going to focus on DJ Quick coming home and being there for her and the children, then they can go too. Because I'm not going to watch her just be mad and keep calling Clifton sassy. But she says she ain't coming back. So Winter says she ain't coming back either. The Duncans said they want a second chance to. I think they was on a YouTube channel where they told the people that they didn't want to come back. I don't know. But you could bring them back. To me, they're kind of boring, but whatever. This is what I feel. I feel like Carlos King should center the show around the Tylers and their friends and their friends' friends, okay? Because Maybe we say what you want about the Tylers. They're giving us content. They're talking about their disabled son. They're talking about their other son who has issues. They're talking about him retiring and being from being a police officer. They're talking about these things that need to be talked about. So when Ashley says, Irina, you use your kids for TV. No, my kids are in my life. I'm a mother. That's a part of my reality. So if I have issues with my sons going on, I'm going to share it. And like she said, you don't get a lot of mothers on TV, with special needs children. As only we get, I think we have what's her name from Miami, Alexia, and her son. He's special needs, but other than that, you could count on one hand how many children, how many of these reality shows, with the housewives or whatever, have children with issues that we see on TV. So I actually applaud the Tylers for sharing that they're dealing with a son who has no vision. That's something we need to see, because in reality, that's what it is in the Black and brown community. You see a lot of mothers, grandmothers, Black families, brown families raising, taking care of the special needs, the elderly, and the disabled. So that's, I don't understand why Irina said that. Irina need to get that girl out her house. The one that, not Irina, Ashley need to get that girl out her house. The one that Irina said was talking big money, mad cash shit on her, talking about she always drunk and she don't clean her house and she don't take care of her kids. Get that girl out your house. That's, my mother would call her, that's a house enemy. You over there. And this is how Ashley feels. Ashley feels like because the girl lives there for free, she gets free room and board, so she doesn't pay her. Those are the worst people that you could have in your life, that you think is on your side. They will run and tell your business. And apparently they was running and telling Ashley's business in a group chat that get that woman out your house. I think Ashley might go on her, I don't know, she has a YouTube channel. I don't know. She hasn't did a live yet. I don't think she did one after Sunday night's episode. I hope she at some point shared that woman is no longer in her home, okay? Because I don't want nobody in my house. If I find out you talking to my friends about me, child, I'm packing your shit myself and you getting the hell out, okay? So there's that. Ashley, please, if you're listening, get that woman out your house. That's a house enemy, okay? We can't have house enemies around us and our children, okay? Other than that, like I said, Love and Marriage DC reunion part 2 was really good. Part 1 was good too. Part 1 was good. I'm looking forward to part 3. I'm looking forward to Love and Marriage Huntsville season whatever. I don't know. And this is Carlos King's chance to redeem himself when it comes to his own show, because even Bold and Bougie, I heard, didn't do very well, and the season was cut short. But I don't think the season was cut short. I just think they didn't, WeTV maybe didn't order a lot of episodes, so maybe it was like a tryout. But for Bold and Bougie, I feel like if he brought in Marlo Hampton to the show along with Malaysia, keep Crystal. I like Crystal, Neil's ex-wife. Tamika's good TV. I don't know. Gaucher got on my nerve, but I guess. And the other lady who created the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, you can keep them, but bring in Marlo. And there was somebody else I thought that would be great for that show. Can't remember their names. But we just got to get the storylines a little bit more amped up. And also, I was watching this YouTuber, and he was like, every time he watched the show, it was giving like a 90s feel to it. And I was like, yeah, it do. So we need to bring it into the 2024, child, because it's given 90s, and we don't want the 90s. We don't want to go back there. No, we don't. We don't go back in life. We go forward. So, Carlos King, you got to start working on your shows and getting your getting your shows together and making them more watchable. And also, but I'll give Carlos King credit, because the king of reality, he's been coming through with them interviews, child. He done had Bambi. Well, first Nene set it off, Nene Leakes, and then Kenya Moore, and then he started getting some really good guests, and I applaud him for giving Black reality stars a space to, talk, because let's be honest, you don't see that a lot. You don't see that these former reality stars have a space to talk about what they went through and, their time on the show or whatever. So I applaud Carlos King for doing that. I got to give him his props because I'm not a hater, I'm a congratulator. The king of reality TV. I wonder if he's going to have Candace Dillard on his show. Someone was saying that, he was really emotional about Candace and Reunion Part 3 of how she was treated by Robin and Giselle. And so someone was saying she's going to be on his podcast soon. I seen her on another one, and then she had hosted, before that she hosted Angela Yee Way Up, and she did really good. So if Candace don't want to do Housewives or anything, she should do a podcast, or she should, somehow Angela Yee maybe partner up with her and let her come on and host a show with her, because she did a really good job. I like listening to her and her voice and whatever. So y'all, that's all that's going on. The YouTubers Sharelle's World has cast a war, or said she's saying there's war between her and Melody Holt and the MELOMETERS, and she said every chance she gets, she gonna get on there and go against Melody and big up Martell Holt. I don't even care about these people like that, but she said she's Team Martell. And so we'll see what happens in the whole Love and Marriage Huntsville universe on YouTube, because, baby, it's crazy. It is so many people in that lawsuit. There's about 8 people being sued, allegedly for doxing another content creator or someone. Sharelle said the woman is a prominent person. I don't know. But then I'm hearing the woman used to be on YouTube channels with her whole name, her first name and her last name. So I don't know. I ain't even getting into it. I don't even care. Only thing I care about is getting some good reality TV, honey. Okay. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to the Goodness Gracious podcast. Bye, y'all. Bye.